Remember.
It's more fun not to know these things ahead of time. All right, guys, so we're going to head into the actual final game of today.
Bonus round. Bonus cast,
Yeah,
even.
bonus cast. That's what we've got going on this time.
Alright. Let's go.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to week number 2, round number 4 bonus cast of our community FFA tournament. This time we've got Blues, Death Tacticus, Hexapus, and Game Slayer, who are just so eager for Morgan and I to come broadcast our game. In particular, Death Tacticus seeming confident and wants to just show off for everybody, so that's what we'll be doing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think we're going to see a Nomad or two on this game.
Oh really? Nomads are available, and you think they'll show up? That's
There's,
a bold prediction there.
well, there's some decent silicon. There is not very much aluminium. You see, when I got this map, I thought what you should do is you should have Nomad, and you should crush that aluminium patch, and then you should go and crush the other patch. And laugh.
Oh, just get rid of all of it and make
Yep.
everyone hate you. No, I like it. That's a good plan. I mean, I am seeing that an expansive would fit really nicely in getting rid of most of this aluminum right here, and that just sounds like fun to me, but probably not necessary. Game Slayer is going to be our first one on the board, crushing some silicon, some aluminum. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I was expecting to see that. I'd also expect to maybe see a scavenger. Maybe.
Yeah, scavenger feels correct this time around, because we did have, well, as we just got one that took away the high and mid carbons that were available. No big surprise to see blues there. One thing I've noticed is Death Tacticus pretty much always waits forever to actually found, by the way. So I'm kind of curious how long this wait's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's no claims on the market, so I'm a little bit surprised he's hanging back. He's obviously got a plan in mind. Perhaps we could see an expansive. I'd like to see an expansive, but
Expansive colony founded.
there it is.
Alright, well, that's what we saw. Expansive for 11,000. Hexapus still not on the board yet, so maybe Hexapus was expecting to get that location and got thrown off a little bit when it got stolen from him. But regardless, everybody is now HQ2. One claim up to Hexapus and Death Tacticus eventually.
Yeah, Hexapus, well, I'm not too sure about his location. There's loads of ice on the
He's
map,
got
so
water, and he's got water on his water, so, you know, it's water.
let's hope he can swim.
I mean, he can just sit back and make food, and he's going to be in a pretty strong spot at this level, I would assume. Only 82 for glass. It shouldn't be difficult for him to get those farms down. And maybe he is in this strange position where you've got one silicon user, one carbon user, and one steel user, so he can't easily get away with just not making steel long term, and he is going to need to find a way to pick up iron somewhere separate from his base. But I think short term food is still the thing he needs to be paying attention to.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets some food down, that's going to be really good for him. Slightly confused at what Blues has now built some greenhouse farms on those two water patches. He took two low waters, which he didn't do anything with. Now he's got some food down, which is going to be good. Make some money, compete with Hexapus. Game Slayer doesn't seem to be doing a lot.
Yeah, he's just not really getting a whole lot done. He has moved into solar panels, but of course it is nighttime right now. Those are going to kick on in a moment here. And they're going to pull in a decent profit once he's paid down his debt. I mean, he's 300 power a second right now on those two solar panels.
Yeah, I would have preferred to see Game Slayer go into some geothermals, to be honest. I know they'd be a little bit expensive because they're going to use all his upgrade resources, but
Now, solar panels use a lot of them too, to be fair. So
yeah, slightly an odd choice, but he'd be frozen out, so he's going to get a couple more panels down. There's Blues EMPing him. I mean, Blues is just running with... Oh no, now he's decided he's going to get a bit more power going down. Get some wind turbines. Very nice. Hexapus still with his food.
and power. I mean, everybody kind of seems to have noticed that there are offices going on this game, so everybody making sure to get into some pretty effective power this time around.
Yeah, I can imagine that power price is going to come down pretty rapidly. As everybody's into power, DT going to have a geothermal, plenty of steel on the go, going into some condensers. bit of aluminium.
18k for a claim. That's a little cheaper than you might usually expect. I'm wondering if some of these players are still expecting that they could profit off of power if they don't get their debt too high.
I would imagine that's what it is. They're all sort of on the cusp of making power money. Maybe apart from Hexapus. Blues is going in some serious amounts of power there. Game Slayer wants a piece of that action.
Yep, gets a mutiny down, but it gets countered immediately. Blues kind of does have an advantage, I think, in this general power money battle. For one thing, he's relying on wind turbines instead of solar panels. Easier to sustain those through black market because you don't have to worry about nighttime combined with black market. And of course, he just has extra black market uses over everyone else. So I wouldn't be too surprised for Blues to kind of win out in this little power battle between him and Game Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, I like Blues' position there because he can later on rotate those out. He's doing reasonably well. He's going to be upgrading reasonably straightforward. There it is, ready for him if he wants it. I'll take him up to HQ4. So I think Blues needs to get a bit of a lead going.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at finding a way to use this high chemical price. He's getting into some refineries. I'm wondering if that's going to be combined with some optimizations or patents, but I'm having a hard time seeing a clear path forward this time around.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll see some off-worlds coming down a little bit later on, but off-world prices aren't amazing. So a few optimizations. Chemicals is always a good optimization. DT, well, he's looking a little bit more dangerous.
Well, no chemicals for the time being.
No, Blues is moving back into water. Kind of seems, I suppose, a bit more
It's reasonable. $80 water, that's fine to go ahead and hop into your couple of lows, but it's really not fun to have to use just some low water for most of your water this game. It's really not good enough for a scavenger most of the time. You can't be using your claims all willy-nilly like that. You really need each and every one of them to be pretty strong.
Yeah, well, I think he's got a couple of condensers going up there, so that should sort his water problem out, but the rotation has been a bit of a pain. Not what's required, not what's wanted.
I am a crippling network virus.
Oh, network virus. It's going to let somebody pierce a goon squad this game.
Yeah, definitely.
And it always could be more interesting.
Yeah, I think there's some potential here if you find the right situation. An aggressive use of a network virus would be reasonably good.
Maybe even just on these farms. I mean, we could see, well, water was a little bit higher a minute ago, but people might be looking to get rid of these farms before too long, and so maybe the network virus gets something done there. But regardless, Blues grabs it for 14k of debt. That doesn't surprise me much. He'll really want to be able to get through a goon squad and make good use of this rather extensive black market this game.
Yeah, I'd be slightly reluctant to pay too much because you get the slowdown strikes working. I think they're a little bit better this time than network viruses, but 14k is not a huge amount. I'm sure Blues will put it to good use. And like you said, people are transitioning now into reactors. Although DT's still running his farms. I suppose there's money to be made. Game Slayer struggling slightly, got a couple of chemical refineries up. That's pretty much about it for his profit-making buildings.
Yeah, he really doesn't have a whole lot of money making going on right now, especially after committing to a pair of low water tiles. Once again, just don't have that many claims. I would even potentially like to see him go ahead and commit to using a couple of these claim returns there. See if he can get into something profitable, make a move into reactors, make a move into glass. Don't just sit on these weak low water pumps. Go ahead and use your faction's abilities to kind of cover this weak area that you've gotten into.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see taking too low waters, not when there's ice available. I mean, I know ice doesn't run 24/7, but I mean, ice is a lot better than it used to be, so 2 ice is going to be better, I think, than 2 low waters.
Especially because it could have been connected to HQ pretty easily. He's got ice right there.
Yeah.
Not too difficult to go ahead and get a hold of. A little bit vulnerable to black market, but yeah, probably a little more powerful in the long run.
Yeah, if he positioned them right, he wouldn't be losing there, I don't think. But, I mean, fuel, he's not shipping far, but fuel's going to take the edge off any water profits he might want to make. Game Slayer up to HQ5. Hopefully he's going to make some money. He gets himself shut down, though.
All right, here we go. Geothermal borehole. Let's see it. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Let's get this done, DT. Already picked up superconductor. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be good.
Yep. If he plays it right, he's going to be making a lot of money out of that. We got a Pleasure Dome tile up for sale. Not a bad Pleasure Dome, although we have got a couple of Pleasure Domes down already, so it's not going to be
Well,
massive
they've got
profits.
one.
The second one's
Hexapus, yeah,
patent
we've got a
lab.
hologrammed patent lab there for the other one, which is reasonable, I guess, to hide the fact that you've got a patent lab and use the one laboratory. Kind of okay, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, they'll get rotated out later, I would imagine. But
All right, virtual reality starting things off with. That makes sense when you've got 2 pleasure domes down already.
yep, that'll be a nice little pickup. But I think there's other patents I've never heard of pick up before that.
Yeah, GameSlayer does have a patent lab at least started as well. It's just about done. And he's going to be after thinking machines immediately. So let's check Offworlds again. 420, 430 are the highest 2 prices we've got, so that's not great. That said, Onworlds, a lot of this life support isn't great on-world already, so maybe that helps make the off-world a little bit better, but I do wonder if focusing on this more advanced resource market with some optimization centers in the short term would work out a little better, or even just a hacker array to go along with them.
Yeah, I definitely like to see GameSlayer go to the bottom of the resources. He's not making... Glass is going to do alright for him. Got some reactors up and running, but I think Chem Labs is the place he needs to be. Electronics not so great at the moment, but DT's going to make an absolute packet from these Chem Labs he's got down. 250 for the ones adjacent to the geotherm, 150 for the other one. So that's pretty nice.
I mean, superconductor plus geothermal borehole is making him a good 6 power a second total.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
not bad. That's some efficient use of claims for an already claim-heavy faction. Could be dangerous for everybody else this game.
Yeah, I think if DT has had the map, then he's pretty much playing his game plan. Which looks like it's going to be a nice plan. If he can get thinking machines before GameSlayer as well, then it's going to be good.
Yeah, is he going to pull that off, though? Even with this slowdown strike, GameSlayer's pretty far ahead in thinking machines. He got that done, he got that started as soon as his patent lab finished. So that was good work on GameSlayer's part, making sure to use those advanced buildings the moment they come down.
Yeah, GameSlayer's going to take thinking machines, but whether he'll be able to build an off-world or two, I don't know.
Hexapus has an interesting game plan.
What do you think that is? Make money from water?
Well, I mean, he's about to finish his 3rd pleasure dome. And now he just picked up a 4th pleasure dome location. So this is a lot of power consumption. Let's start with that, right? This is a lot of power consumption going on for Hexapus. And now it's a lot of water consumption because it looks like he has cold fusion to go along with it.
Yeah, he is running a huge amount of water though, and he's making some good money out of his water tiles. But definitely think he should be selling water down, because I think the other players with this... Oh, I suppose it's only Blues and DT that got the solar condensers. But even so, Hexapus missed the trick there. He could have made some money.
Oh, GameSlayer. GameSlayer just cannot have people stop messing about with his patent lab. Blues in particular has been after that thing pretty heavily. And GameSlayer was 0 seconds away from finishing Thinking Machines when his patent lab got stolen. He has 14 seconds to try and get it or somebody else's patent lab for himself with a mutiny to see if he can actually get that patent done. He's got a mutiny stored up. He just dropped a spy. And Hexapus finishes Thinking Machines.
Hexapus takes it. Wow, I do hope Hexapus is going to put that to good use.
Oh, GameSlayer's not going to be happy about that one. That's the kind of thing that'll tilt him right off the map, quite frankly. So we'll see what he can do with the rest of this game. But I would not be counting on GameSlayer to take this victory after something like that happens.
No, he's not going to be happy about it. Who would? He's on the cusp so many times. Never mind. Think of a better plan.
Well,
Exodus,
DT's pretty clearly gearing up for an Offworld. And that plan isn't changing, despite not managing to get thinking machines. He is going to be the first to try and head Offworld this game.
yeah, this is a good move. Going to make good money.
520 for oxygen, and we're getting there when it comes to Offworld prices at this point.
And he's still running 2 optimization centers as well, so he's going to be doing pretty well with the optimizations. He's got 3 already, 2 more queued up. He's going to really get through those optimizations, really get some nice cash coming in.
I do feel the need to point out, by the way, the absurd amount of power that he'll be saving from having this off-world market next to this geotherm, just because they're quite power-hungry buildings, and not only does the geothermal borehole provide you power production on the tile, it also nullifies the entire power cost of that tile. And so it's just very efficient use of claims from Death Tacticus here is letting him do things like have 2 optimization centers running this whole time and get an off-world market up during it and be able to go into these multiple game plans effectively.
Yeah, geothermal borehole, if you use it correctly, is a pretty powerful thing. Pretty situational though.
Pretty situational, no doubt about that at all.
But it's definitely a nice one to pick up if you can use it correctly. Especially as you can build on the geotherm as well. It's a nice little bonus to it.
Absolutely. I think most of the time you want at least 1 geotherm, but maybe if you went 2, then you picked up the borehole. You never know. Anyway.
Wow, have you seen how much money these pleasure domes are making for Hexbus?
Yes, it's pretty ridiculous.
No wonder he wants another one.
All right, there are quite a few habitats down. We've got 2 expansives down as well. He did stop at 3 though, so at least this last location did turn into an optimization center instead of a pleasure dome, so just kind of an extra tile there.
Yeah, it's quite a way away though.
He has been forcing an awful lot of these auctions, it seems. Or,
It's
I guess, is this one Game Slayer this time around?
Yes, it is. Does he wants a pleasure dome as well? Everybody wants a pleasure dome. Has he seen the amount of money that Hexafus is making?
Oh boy, this is some silly stuff right here.
Yeah.
This is a silly game.
That's a ridiculous amount of money. Still, if anybody can afford it, DT can afford it.
Yeah, he had basically no debt. I mean, he's only in $75,000 of debt at this point. That's not really going to be a concern from him. He already has the off-world market online. And on top of that, his off-world market looks like an optimization center, which I really like that disguise in particular because it tells your opponents that the markets are going to go in maybe a completely different direction from where you're intending to push them, right? Optimization center, extra production, on-world prices go down. Off-world market, extra consumption, on-world prices go up. And so if you just pretend one building is the other, well, that can get people quite confused very, very effectively.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised nobody's managed to get a spy on it though. I mean, I would have thought that would have been an obvious place to have a spy, especially after you see him pick up borehole. I don't. Probably wanted to put a spy there, but 30k a spy, it's a bit expensive to take a punt on, I would say.
Well, I think part of what's happened here is both Hexapus and Gameslayer have gone for the spy that hits the most tiles, right? Maybe not identifying which specific location they needed to see, and instead just taking a scatter shot, hitting as many tiles as they could, and hoping that it would be in there somewhere. But DT, his important building, of course, positioned away from there. So it's not like nobody is spying out DT, they haven't found the right spot just yet. Although that slowdown strike shows that somebody has a clue what's going on.
Yep. Which I imagine is going to be blues.
It is blues indeed.
Yeah. Good. Didn't even need to look at that one. I mean, blues. I like what blues has done with his wind turbines. He's desperately trying to get the price of power down to stop DT making the money. DT, come on, DT is about equal on power. He's about 1 up, but blues. I mean, those 5 claims. Good idea, but he's really tied a load of claims up.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of an interesting subsidiary move out of Blues. I mean, he hasn't been purchased just yet, so I'm a little confused by the excessive amount of power production, but, well, he'll get that price knocked down very effectively, and he is making some money off of it for the time being.
Yeah, even so, little bit disappointed. I thought Blues would have done a little bit better.
Offworld
I mean,
shipment launched.
scavenger location is pretty good, but just doesn't. I don't know, I suppose he's not doing too badly, but everybody else just seems to be
Freelance
further ahead.
pirates are auctioning their
Yeah,
services to
exactly.
the
Like,
highest
maybe not
bidder.
doing too badly, but just not managing to keep up with everyone else. Hexapus has really done good work with his Pleasure Dome staying in this one, although DT has solidly planted himself in the way of that with these extra claims he's picked up. Doesn't have to hurt his own plan too much, and does severely hamper what Hexapus is up to. So that's nice work by DT there. Meanwhile, Gameslayer himself just pulling the classic Gameslayer move of having too much debt and going into off-world markets, which does not seem to be going well, as Hexapus is barreling down on him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Gameslayer's got a mutiny available, and he knows that that off-world market from DT, the second one, is unprotected. But once he spends that
Hexapus
mutiny,
knows the same thing.
has Hexapus got a spy there as well?
Yep, they're both got that exact same location spied.
Well, I do hope one of them's going to do something about that off-world, because you can't let that go.
Yeah, it's just such a nice juicy target right there. Just waiting to be hit. You gotta take advantage of it. I do find it interesting that DT scrapped away from one of his optimization centers. Apparently thinks that he had enough for the time being and just wanted to be making a lot of money.
Look at all the
Might be
money.
just trying to gear into a purchase on Blues, more concerned about that and keeping up with Hexapus than his long-term income. Also, he's about to have fully optimized steel.
Shipment launched.
And steel's at 285, so Hexapus has let very interesting things happen to that market this game.
Yeah, Hexapus, I don't think has really ever been in much steel. Let's see, he might have been in it for a little while, but got a little bit of iron coming in. So yeah, I mean, letting DT have the uncontested steel market is asking for trouble, perhaps. But somebody has mutinied that off-world, which
Offworld shipment
Yep,
launched.
Hexapus got a hold of
Look
it.
at all the money.
good. Fortunately, Hexapus is suffering a little bit. DT's decided Hexapus is the guy to go down, which I can see why. I mean, Hexapus is pretty much the only competition at the moment. Gameslayer, well, I don't know.
I do wonder if this mutiny was actually a mistake out of Hexapus for the time being, because he had to spend, I mean,
Shipment launched.
these mutinies have cost him a lot of money to acquire. He could have picked up Gameslayer much earlier, I think, if he had not gone with the mutiny, as he only got the money back very, very recently for that mutiny. And picking up Gameslayer before Death Tacticus had managed to buy up so much of his stock would have been a massive move, just because it would have increased his stock price so much. And now he has to be concerned about Death Tacticus. If he had gotten to that buy before Death Tacticus started, Hexapus would be looking in a great spot to just run over the rest of this game.
Yeah, now he's lost those 5 shares. He's looking in a pretty weak position. DT's got the cash,
Look at all the
got the
money.
cash flow, and more importantly, he's got the shares. So, unfortunately, I don't think Hexapus is going to be able to overcome DT, even with a subsidiary like Gameslayer. Two off-worlds making will be making reasonable money, but yeah, I think that's a slight misstep there from Hexapus.
Yeah, just not quite getting it done fast enough. It feels like DT 2/3 of the way to the buy. Hexapus will bump his price up a little bit as he's purchasing into DT, trying to stay alive this game, but I feel like it's unlikely it's going to be enough, even with the subsidiary income. 1,000 a second already. That's a good start, but he's got a long way to go, and this hack is going to be really scary.
Yeah, I think DT's got the money. It's just a question of time. Blues has come back a little bit, but he's going to have to either take on Death Tacticus or Hexapus, so it's going to be really hard for him. With the stock price of either of them, it's going to be just obscene.
Offworld shipment
91%
Look at
is
all
what
the
Death
money.
Tacticus has on Hexapus. And Blues, I'll be a little surprised if Blues just doesn't concede after DT gets to that purchase. He's got 2 off-worlds, and that's nice. That's nice, Blues. You have 2 off-worlds. That's good for you. But DT's going to have almost a whole 2 subsidiaries. Blues will have 1 little pip in that. And only $329,000 of cash. You might think, $329,000 of cash. I'd like to have that amount of cash. And you know what? I would agree with you. But in this kind of situation, it's just not going to do the work.
Well, yeah, it may buy 1 or 2 shares, but you've still got the other 7 you've got to pay double price for. It's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yep. DT also picks up 2 more claims
Wow,
during all of that,
this one
and what does Blues have now? Blues has a tiny little button that says concede, and I think that's literally his best decision he can make at this point in his life. When did I get so bad at this game?
Well, yeah, I don't believe Blues has won a game today, which most
I thought you
unusual.
were DT. Oh boy. Oh boy.
We should disqualify DT for talking during the game.
Obviously. DT broke the rules. Alright, Blues goes ahead. Concedes this one out. DT gets to have his little show off, wins the game with geothermal borehole. I do want to... It's a good patent. People should use it more.
Yeah.
We should pay more. It's so good. DT says he thought he was dead most of the game. You know what? I will say that I thought other players were in a very good position to really get something done, and I still maintain that if Hexapus had gotten that buy on GameSlayer immediately by canceling out of launches, by not taking that mutiny, I think Hexapus wins the game. But
Yes.
but without it, clearly DT got there. You got to hand it to him. He wins consistently, and it isn't luck every time.
Oh no. No, definitely not. No, DT's done well, but, it was iffy there for a bit. I mean, Hexapus, I think, did amazingly well.
Yeah, for his found, we're sitting here going, all right, well, he has water, and he's got water, and that's great. But just this ridiculous nonsense going on with pleasure domes that DT eventually was forced to build 2 pleasure domes himself off those auction tiles.
Yeah, just
To try and combat that. That was some amusing stuff there. And I actually saw another cold fusion. I think we've seen, has it been 3 cold fusions today out of these 5 games?
I think it has been, yes.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Usually you don't get 3 cold fusions in 300 games, so hey,
No.
I like it.
Yeah, it certainly